why don't you share with us really quick, just in basic terms, the EnergyNet website? What is it and what is the platform? But then let's go into the background. I want to hear the origin story of EnergyNet.
Yeah, certainly. So EnergyNet as a acquisition and divestiture platform, we really serve as a two-sided marketplace for oil and gas asset transactions, and that's where we started out. We have currently about nearly 50,000 registered buyer accounts and about 15,000 registered seller accounts. So when I say two-sided marketplace, I mean kind of think of it like Zillow or even, Airbnb or Ubers. We have buyers and sellers. Uber has riders and drivers, and Airbnb has hosts and renters. But it's kind of a way that we can create competitive sale processes for really any size asset. So when we started off, we were primarily an online auction company, and we would work on behalf of what we call, industry side clients. So we'd work on behalf of banks or individuals or groups like Exxon or Chevron that had, these oil and gas assets, and they may be operated working interests, like operated producing fields. It may be non-producing leasehold that they own that was, had a term on it. Could have been overriding royalty interest, royalties, non-operated working interest, combinations thereof. But really, instead of just trying to say, here's a package of assets and we're going to go try to find a buyer on our own as the company, they engage us, and we create a very comprehensive data room materials, and then we access our network of buyers to expose it to the right buyers, and then create a competitive environment where they compete for the assets with a kind of a fixed structure around it, a fixed ending time, the deal parameters, what's being offered, how the deal is going to close, how the purchase and sale agreement works, when funds are due, when the effective date is all known. It's kind of a level playing field for all participants. So, instead of just being on somebody's short list that you were lucky enough to get the call to maybe participate in an asset acquisition opportunity, this is more widespread, a lot more exposure to the market. And then, running the competitive sale processes really kind of generates the best outcome for the seller. But for the buyers, it's just giving them a ton of opportunities that are teed up and ready to go. So, we've been in business now for 25 years. We have about 50 employees. We have a team that builds BDRs. We have a team that target markets the asset to prospective buyers. We have business development managing directors that are, building relationships or maintaining relationships with, key oil and gas E&P companies, whether they're majors, large independents, small and mid-cap private equity sponsors, private equity portfolio companies that are working with them. We have a team of petroleum engineers and geologists that are working to kind of build the upside around more complex asset transactions. Have a technology team that maintains and builds and improves on the platform itself. But with the team to date, we've sold over $10 billion in assets, but that's literally 100,000 plus individual transactions in a given year. Like last year, we did just about $1 billion in asset transactions, probably 2,000 or 2,500 individual transactions. 90% of those were sub $3 million. And a handful were ranged in value from, say $10 million to $150 million in value. But it's really, kind of similar to some of these other two-sided marketplaces. As more users are using it, kind of the it strengthens and improves with that. Just, you're getting quality assets on the market, and then getting the right buyers to participate. The right buyers are participating, and you're getting good results in terms of valuations. Then you'll use it more and more. But
Keep coming
yeah.
back.
So with that, like we had, initially, it was online auctions for E&P assets, upstream assets. So we have really kind of three lines of business now where, we still have the auction and sealed bid assets for the industry side. We have what's called Indigo Energy Advisors. That's more of kind of an energy investment bank, just more high touch, more kind of white glove service for the higher value deals, for $100 million deal, $150 million deal. And then what we use a lot with Dudley and Brent is our government resources division. And that's where, we have this platform. We work for about 18 different government agencies, including the U.S. federal government through the Bureau of Land Management. We work for the state of Texas for university lands, Texas GLO, state of Oklahoma, state of New Mexico, and a lot of the western states, Colorado, uh, North Dakota, Wyoming, Montana to facilitate their oil and gas lease sales. And a lot of those, so the Bureau of Land Management has federally mandated, I mean, like legally mandated sales, and in the congressional laws are passed on how these will run and how how the rules work, and then the states have kind of their own different ways of doing this. So some of them are what we call transparent bid auctions, where you can see that the high bid is $1 million, and you have to bid $1,010,000 to be the high bidder, and others are sealed bid processes where you offer the assets available for sale, but you don't necessarily have the advantage of knowing what the other bidders are bidding. So those are kind of our three lines of business, and they have some synergies among themselves. Where especially with the government lease sales in the state of New Mexico or BLM, state of Wyoming, state of Texas, it gets to we get to interact with the biggest of the big. The Oxys are participating, and the EOGs and the Mewburns and Permian Resources, and it's great to we're really some of the more interesting things. I mean, confidential, but from where we're sitting, we can see all the people that are registering for the sale, and how much money they're registering for the sale, and who's competing against who for those specific tracks.
Yeah.
So that can get really exciting just to watch as kind of the fireworks going off on certain tracks.
Yeah, you must have a really good pulse on the industry.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting to see. I need to, the next, Karnes County, I'm going to buy my barbecue joint.
Get your popcorn.
My hotel set up right before it kicks off, so
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's, you guys were kind of the first, I guess, web platform, right? That really took ground. Before you had the oil and gas clearinghouse, that kind of thing was out there. It was coming in a magazine every month.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the government sales, we would have to, as land, field guys, very often we were traveling to have someone at the sale with the sealed envelope, to turn in your bid, or representing a company guy out in the field. And this really changed everything.